Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another interesting video. A frustrating theme that I see in many hobbies out there, and very much so in the firearms community here on YouTube. And before we get this video started, there are no sponsors for the channel right now. If you want to see more of interestingly mounted microphones on my head or other 2014 style gun reviews, you can hit that subscribe button and also comment down below. Other than that, you can help me out by hitting the link up in the card in the right-hand corner of your screen now, one of those ways, to FF Lifestyle. And that is going to bring you to my awesome B channel. I have non-firearms related content over there. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs, and I would really appreciate your help. This has been a very difficult video for me to figure out. I have had the idea in my head for quite some time now, and I've wanted to talk about this in this format, but actually getting the words out to what I'm trying to say has been very difficult. This whole idea came across after actually getting into mountain biking. I started to get into that, a whole other series on that on my B channel, of course, that you can check out. And in getting into this brand new hobby, I started running into being a beginner, wanting to purchase a bike, and immediately running into this community online that was, okay, if you don't have, I'll just simplify it into completely non-mountain biking terms, right? If you don't have this $6,000 bike, you can't even ride. Can't even ride. Can't even get on the trail. It is worthless. You are worthless. And here are all the reasons why you have to have this $5,000, $6,000 mountain bike to get on the trail. And I'm over here like, hey man, I'm not really into it like that per se. I get it. I understand it. But I'm just looking to ride once a week. I'm not trying to get into it too crazy. How about this $1,000 bike or this $500 bike? This whole crowd online, it is, oh my God, if you don't have this specific $500 part, you're not even going to be able to ride out of your driveway. It's not going to work. The whole bike's going to fall apart. I came to this massive realization, like setting the flower petal on the cat's head and it going into the universe, that is what our community is like. When a brand new person wants to get into firearms, is that what it's like? That has to be what it's like. I've been into this industry and shooting firearms since I was 7 years old. I just have never really noticed it, and now looking at a different community, I'm like, oh my God, that is exactly what our community is like. We have completely fabricated this narrative of what you need, and convoluted it when in actuality, it's what you want. What do you need? If you want to be a gun owner and you want to be a prepared person and you say, I'm down with the Second Amendment, I completely understand it. I'm down with protection against tyranny. I'm down with preparing for things to make sure that I'm okay in the event that something happens. What do you need? If you don't have anything at all, you're like, I need to get something. A standard pistol. This is a first gen M&P 9 with a Harbor Freight knockoff Streamlight weapon light. This pistol will get you far and above the rest of 90% of the people out there. This pistol and a few thousand rounds of training. Let's say for a preparedness situation, I have 1,000 rounds of hollow point 9mm. That would be more than enough for what you would probably ever need in any sort of possible situation. That is going to be as effective as a $4,000 kitted out staccato with optics, magazines, and 20,000 rounds of ammunition. 20,000 rounds. Let's stack it on 25,000 rounds of hollow point ammunition, because we're going to get into a massive pissing contest on what people actually need versus what they want. A rifle, I would argue you need, okay? One solid rifle. Does that rifle need to pass any extreme, unbelievable test that the internet puts it out to pass? Probably not. Does this rifle need to be able to get you through thousands of rounds of training, 1,000, 2,000 rounds of solid rifle classes? That is a lot of rounds downrange in classes. Can you compete with the rifle? Probably. That's a whole other ballgame. We're not even talking about that. We're talking about what you need. This rifle, iron sighted, solid setup, probably costs about $1,100, roughly. Maybe you could probably get into it $800, $1,100. Solid rifle. I assembled this, okay? So it's not a factory rifle. And in this case, you can pick and choose what barrel you want, what you need. Reality check. This is fucking fine. This is fine. I don't need a laser aiming module. I don't need $1,100 of accessories on this rifle to be completely prepared for most situations. I need this rifle, and I need, let's say, something awesome, 1,000 rounds of ammo on tap, loaded in magazines for any possible situation that could happen. That is what I need. I don't need 7 of these rifles to autistically argue about which specific barrel length needs to happen. Because here's what begins to happen in this community, and I have fallen victim of it as well. I need this specific short-barreled shotgun for any sort of breaching or home invasion. In case I get into some sort of firefight, I'm going to need this RPK with a 75-round drum so I can fire from an elevated position in this specific case scenario. I really need this 9mm PCC subgun Uzi types in case I need any sort of a specific scenario where I'm going to be running around in some CQB situation. I really I don't have a bolt gun that can get to 1,000 yards. So in case I get into some situation where I need to hit out to 1,000 yards, I'm going to need a bolt gun. I'm going to need a suppressor for that too so that my sound signature is reduced. Quiver with arrows in case I get into this specific situation, and I'm going to need a helmet because in that situation, if I don't have this, then I'm going to need this. If I don't have this night vision mount on the helmet, then I'm dead, because this YouTuber said that I am dead without these products. If I don't have a 20-inch AR, I'm not going to be able to get the full velocity out of the 223, and it's not going to be effective in any way, shape, or form in any specific situation at all. And we mess up what you need versus what you want. Should you be able to have everything you want? 100%. And if you have the money to do it, I would do it every freaking day of the week. Why do I have this stuff behind me? Because I fucking want to have it. The big thing I'm trying to get across here is I don't need all of those individual items to survive a situation. That is the difference. What frustrates me is YouTubers will get on this platform and tell a beginner that owns no firearms whatsoever that you need each and every one of those to survive in most situations. And if you don't have one of those, you are going to die. In this specific what-if situation that they've completely gone down the what-if rabbit hole of needing this specific rifle, because if you don't have it, it is ineffective. You cannot even shoot. You can't even train. You are going to die if you don't have this rifle or this setup or this kit. Ironically, in most modern conflicts, they're doing a hell of a lot of killing these days without even an optic on their rifle and standard iron sights. And somehow, this completely ineffective rifle that is essentially a piece of garbage is somehow effective in modern combat. I read and listened to in a video that if you don't have a weapon light, you're going to die. You're gonna die. It is completely worthless. You are trash. Your rifle is trash. And you should have never purchased this in the first place because you don't have a weapon light. So at the end of the day, what begins to happen is what you need versus what you want from a YouTuber or anyone else online or your buddy that's into guns becomes what you need is what I have. And I'm telling you, you need it because I feel better than you that I have all of this shit and you don't have it. And it turns into one big pissing contest of what you need and I have it and I need it because of all these X, Y, or Z reasons. At the end of the day, let's get real here. If any sort of a situation were to kick off, okay, anything at all, if you are alone, if you have no idea how to use your items, if you are not fit enough to move, walk around, it's not going to matter, one. Two, if you get into a firefight with anybody and you are alone, you have no air support, no medical support, no one coming to get you, and you fire more than 100 rounds in that firefight, you're probably going to die. You're probably going to be dead anyways. So 1,000 rounds is going to put you far and above everyone out there for what you need. Do you need 10,000 rounds on tap to survive? And if you don't have 10,000 rounds, you're a piece of shit? No, probably not, because I got news for you. You're probably not going to be able to take and cart around 10,000 rounds. If you can have it and you want to have it, you should have it. It'd be really cool. If they ban a certain rifle, take, for instance, 5.45 ammunition. They banned that ammunition from being imported. I have thousands of rounds of 5.45 ammunition that I bought when it was cheap. I wanted that. Did I need to have that? 100% no. But I wanted that, and I bought it, and I was able to buy it. And now I have the ability to shoot 5.45 at my leisure if I want to for years down the road for any purpose that I would like to have. If the end of the world hits and I want to barter ammunition, I could absolutely do that. But I'm also not going to sit here and tell you that I have 10,000 rounds of ammunition because in some strange, ridiculous situation, I'm going to be able to go through 10,000 rounds on tap and not die somehow. Do you guys get where I'm going with this? You're not going to be able to bring 85 rifles with you walking around in some specific situation. You're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be doing it. So it's kind of not needed. Needs versus wants. We're not talking about if you should be able to buy all of these things or if you should not. I'm talking about need versus want, because the average beginner comes into a community and they don't understand this, and they get completely messed up by listening to all this different information and all of this different gatekeeping to figure out what you need. And we have such staunch opinions on what you have to have on a rifle in order to defend your life and defend your family's life right now and in any sort of future situation. Please stop toxically shitting on people based off of a specific attachment they may or may not have. And also, it gets very tiring listening to somebody talk to me. Most of the time it's a buddy, but sometimes it's a YouTuber talking about, I need to have a 12.5 because in this specific situation, I need to have it. And I need to have a 20-inch rifle because if that situation doesn't happen and this happens, I need to have it so that I can grab that rifle instead of this rifle. A very good older friend of mine gave me advice when I myself was saying that to him. He was such a good friend of mine. And he said to me, you are going to die in your basement trying to decide what rifle to grab. And that hit me harder than I ever realized. I am sitting there adding to my ready safe 17 configurations like I'm in a Call of Duty loadout for one specific scenario after another that I can grab in case I need it in this specific situation. And I took them all out, and I have one rifle ready to go in that configuration that I'm very familiar with, that I can connect in any situation with, and that specific rifle will do everything I need it to do. Do not let the internet convince you one way or another that your rifle is not fine. Sure, if you have a $300 rifle that is built horrendously, it's probably not going to be a great choice. Let's just consider it the same as buying a $300 vehicle that, may not be the best daily driver. If you spend a reasonable amount of money and you get a reasonable vehicle, it's going to be just fine. It's going to be just fine. Do you have $20,000 suspension on it to get you from here to there? No? Okay, well, you're not even going to be able to drive the car. That's what we're trying to get rid of. Get a good, reliable vehicle, drive it daily, understand how to drive it. Thank you guys so much for watching this extreme rant and ramble, what you need versus what you want. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more great content coming soon.